Good evening, good evening.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to this week's episode of
Episode
Venus versus Mars. Episode 9,
Episode 9, Venus versus Mars. Talk with Teezy.
featuring your boy Wad. It's 2 weeks.
Yes.
We've been going good. This has been good.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you all for
almost at
tuning in.
episode 9. Sorry, I'm trying to do something real quick, you guys.
I was having difficulties with the phone, so we decided to switch to the computer.
I think I had it you. Alright, anyways. I don't know if it's you. Oh, it's saying that you're tagged. Okay. Alright. Alright, so. Huh?
You didn't put the title.
Oh. I know because I'm trying to talk to the audience.
What's up, y'all?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you doing this evening? How was your day today? I would able to see the comments that too. So, our topic for today, for episode 9. Hey, Fatty Fats.
What's up, Fats?
What's up? So, our topic for today, what we want to do the honors as.
The topic is letting go versus staying in toxic relationships.
Letting go versus staying in a toxic relationship.
Well, I don't know if we all been there, but
I feel like everybody has dealt with it.
if you on the dating scene and you've done a good amount of dating in your life, you've been through this.
Yeah, I think everybody has been through toxic relationships. But it's, why did you stay? What made you stay knowing that it wasn't right? Was it the time? Was it the time? Was it the hey sis?
Was it the feeling?
Was it the feeling? Was
the
it
emotions, the attachment? Tap in.
Was it the vision in your head that said that this would be a forever thing? Like, what was it? Or if you were able to walk away, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Was it easy? Did it take a long time?
The process.
What was the process like?
Relationships are process.
Yeah, relationships are a process.
They are.
Always. Always. So we don't have a special guest today, but if anyone wants to chime in,
Feel free.
feel free. We can add you on, and then we can go from there. Hey Mocha, what's up, girl?
Hello.
What's up?
Hello.
What's up, everybody tuning in to episode 9 of Talk with Teezy, Venus versus Mars. Web in the building, of course. So let's get started. You want me to kind of talk about my toxic relationship, or why
you stayed,
well
left, did both at times, like
yeah, well
did you
I feel like
go back? Is that a thing?
Yeah, but I feel like that's still a part of staying in a toxic relationship because you did not officially leave and start over.
True.
So I feel like that's still,
Yeah.
So, see where I should start. I could say in present life right now, it's in the case of leaving the toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the, what word do I want to use? All of the things that it took, that I went through leading up to that, it wasn't easy. Like, it wasn't just, I went through something, I realized it was a bad situation, I realized it was toxic, and I was able to get out of it. And I think that's how most people are. Like, I feel like most people, when they're in relationships and they're in situations, maybe especially like when we were younger, most people don't just walk away from somebody that they love or they care about for real. Like, it's not something just that's a sexual thing, but it's somebody that they really cared about and wanted the relationship with. I think that most people, even men, like, it's not that easy to just bounce and walk away. I feel like it comes with more than that. And then with the learning to love yourself again, the wisdom, wanting better, all of that stuff, that helps with weaning yourself off of a bad relationship. Because I was one that did stay in a toxic relationship, and people used to always ask me, like, why are you with this person? Like, you can do so much better. And, people always have their things to say about when people are in relationships. And they just don't understand how much you love that person. And you just looking at them like, I know we go through all of this, but I love this person so much. And I feel like it's going to work. So I'm going to stay in the in that relationship. Not, first of all, not even understanding that it was toxic, which it could be another thing. I think that a lot of us don't understand that what a toxic relationship is, or if there is toxicity in a relationship.
Yeah.
So first having to realize that
it is toxic. Yeah.
right. And then another thing that made me stay was because I wanted my family life. Like, that was just like the main goal. Like, one of the main goals. Like, yo, like, we created these kids and stuff like that. And not just because of the kids, but even before that, like the bond and stuff that we built. And I think that time too was another thing, like, that made me anyway stay in a relationship that I maybe should have been gotten out of. So
I can relate. I can relate. I can relate 100%. Staying
yes.
when like wanting to leave because, like you said, you really, really, really love that person, and you have kids, and you want the family life, and you want your family to work, and you want to make things work.
Right.
And I mean, it's a little different for men than women because, like, a lot of the not the pressure, but to get it done falls on the man in a sense. It falls on both parties, but as far as leading it, sometimes, and if you don't know the situation's toxic and how to deal with toxicity and how to deal with that kind of emotional turmoil, it's hard. You find yourself sucked in like quicksand.
Right. And you can find yourself sucked in, as well as losing yourself too. Like, you can find yourself lost in a toxic relationship. You could also pick up those type of behaviors and bring them into your next relationship.
Or bring them into your life if you don't
right.
get into a relationship.
You can bring it into your life too. Yep. Even the point of view or how you view, like, as a woman, if I went through so many things, then it could, I could view men differently, or look at them and say, oh, they're all the same, or this is what they do, because of things that I went through.
Yeah.
Right.
You really don't.
You really don't. Hey, boo boo. She said, you really don't Natalie, she said, you really don't realize it's toxic. You don't. That's what I said in the beginning. I think it's like you're having fun, or you might just look at it as, you might be going through things with your partner, or, we just had a little argument, or, they cheated once, she cheated once, he cheated once, or whatever, and you're not noticing, or, he pushed me against the wall that one time, and that's it. Like, you're not noticing that.
The red flag.
That's a red flag because your emotions are so caught up. You so, oh my God, like, this person, the way that they're treating me, and then one slip up, you kind of like let it pass. You let it skate on thin ice, not knowing that you setting yourself up for something major because you never acknowledged until it was too late the toxic behavior. Have you ever been one that, do you think that you've been somebody that brought that has been toxic and brought it into your relationship?
Yeah. I wasn't aware that it was. I was responding. It was like a defense mechanism to, like, responding to, like, insults or responding to trauma that I hadn't understood at the time. So yeah, I did bring toxicity by not being the bigger person, being the person to step away from the situation or walk away from the argument or the fight and not escalate it.
I think that's kind of where. Go ahead.
And hurt people hurt people.
Yes. Hi, Hillary. She said hurt people hurt people. Oh, hi, Kimi.
Oh, we got a lot of comments.
Yeah, we have some. Sorry, we just not seeing it. So yes, I believe that hurt people hurt people. Cause what you just said, I could piggyback off of. I think that maybe I was toxic in that manner because of whatever we went through. Like, I would indulge in that, and I feel like that's a part of being toxic, because that's something that you could carry on, like you said, into your life or into your next relationship if you don't heal from it, or things that you have never even dealt with that, like you said, spills over into the relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Natalie, what's your question?
I think I was toxic. I could have been toxic in that manner too. I brought things that wasn't part of the relationship in a sense into the relationship, and I had no clue. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So Hillary said toxicity. I always say it
Toxicity.
wrong. Toxicity is also a generational curse as we
Yeah.
tend to migrate to what we see and learn. Yes,
That is a
exactly.
fact
That's what I was
of
just
life.
saying. Like when you see something, like if I seen my mom and somebody she was with or whatever going back and forth fighting and stuff, like that's something that sometimes, like, unfortunately I end up dealing with the same type of situation.
Yeah.
And not even knowing that, it's because of, at that point in time I didn't know that it's because of what I seen and things that I probably thought was okay because, oh hey, my mom accepted it, so I didn't look at it as it's toxic, but in reality it was. It's definitely a curse. So Natalie said, so how do you feel like married people have overcome toxicity in their marriage?
I've never been married, so I really can't speak from the marriage perspective.
Me neither, but I honestly feel like because of the true and real commitment that they make towards one another to want to make their relationship work and to make that marriage work. I mean, like I said, I've never been married, but I feel like marriage is really sacred. Two people really, this is how it's supposed to be. We know it's not always like that, but two people really coming together and making that real commitment. Not to say I'm gonna put up with everything you put me through, but to understand that maybe certain behaviors lingered into their life or certain things that they've been through, and just being able and willing to help each other get through it. I think maybe that is. But if it's really toxic like that, I mean, if you're talking about back in the days, we talked about that basically the woman didn't have an option. Like she was married, the man took care of things, and that was that. And the woman stayed home, so it kind of was like they didn't have an option. Nowadays, I mean, you have women and men that stay in that are married because sometimes they can stay in it because they want to prove to the world or to the people that their relationship is good when indeed it isn't.
Yes, yeah.
It could be just the amount of years that they've been with that person, and sometimes you're scared to walk away and start over. So I think those may be some.
In my opinion, like you're saying, I think it's a lot. It has a lot, especially with marriage, not especially, but relationships in general. But with marriage, I feel like it has a lot to do with like putting the other person first. Because a lot of toxicity comes from being selfish, thinking about yourself, thinking, oh, I'm not going. You know what I mean? You're not about to make me feel that way. Like I'm not about to. You're not about to. You know what I mean? And instead of thinking about what you could get or how you feel, think about the other person and how they feel. And relationships grow that way.
Right. Yes, I agree with you.
But it has to be reciprocated. It can't be one-sided.
Right.
Pouring into somebody because
Oh,
you don't
yes.
get it. Because then that's toxic.
Yes,
and that's not only toxic on the person that's receiving without giving. It's toxic on the person that's giving without boundaries.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Preaching tonight, Web. Hillary said, sometimes the underlying issue is bringing undressed baggage into every relationship. We really need to acknowledge, hold yourself accountable, and address our issues head on. Exactly. I 100% agree with you on that. And that was a topic that what did I say today? Basically talking about your baggage and stuff like that in the new relationship. Like, how is that okay? Would you do that? Do you how comfortable do you feel with talking about that baggage with the person that you just met with the new person?
Honestly, I find myself, I do that a lot.
What?
Talk about my baggage from like either the situation before or a past situation.
And do you think that kind of makes the person prejudge you?
I don't think that and while I'm doing it, I'm just venting, and it's just like I don't realize it's venting. I'm thinking of like I'm processing all this right now, but it's like I don't think of it as venting at the time. I'm just conversating, but I'm venting.
Right.
And then after it's you said I think it affects. Do they like prejudge me?
Yeah, you think that they prejudge you, or like say if you and your lady get into an argument or a disagreement, and something that you told her from your past that you dealt with. And maybe she now looking at it like, oh, well, now I see why that happened. Do you think that
it can affect it that way?
Okay.
And you got to be cautious of that. That's why you shut the hell up.
Hi, Auntie Tammy. Angie said, the men now, they want you to take care of them. And it should be 50-50. We're supposed to take care of each other.
Exactly.
Yes, we are supposed to take care of each other. But I don't think it should be 50-50, Angie. I think it should be 100. I think that each party should go on putting 100% into their partner as well as them
People say
putting
that.
100% in. I mean, they say
But I think when they say 50-50, they mean it makes 100.
yeah, I mean, yeah, well, yeah, it makes them complete, but you want to be at 100 yourself, and they'll be at 100 themselves. So when y'all come together, it'll be, it'll be more powerful.
Growth, yeah.
Right. Yes, you are supposed to take care. I hope no grown woman is taking care of any man. Unfortunately, that has happened a lot, and unfortunately, that does happen a lot.
That does.
But even men, they take care of grown women now and doing things with themselves. So I'm not being biased.
Let's say marriage.
Oh, she said, marriage can only work if communication is at the helm and heart. And marriage, you have to be selfless in your love. Yes, I agree with that. I like how you put that. You do have to be selfless.
Selflessness is where it's at.
Yes.
But I have boundaries. I had to learn that. Being selfless, because I'm a person that's selfless in general. I'm a selfless person, you know what I mean? Right. So I like to give, I like to do for people. Like I like, it's just my, you know what I mean? It's in my character. But like, not having boundaries will bleed you.
Oh yes, it will. It will tear your into pieces.
It will bleed you. The expectations of that it will bleed you when it's not met.
And I don't think that it should stop you from being that good man, but I think it should make you realize and understand that what's toxic, being selfless.
Being that selfless. Being, because I guess it's not selfless. At that point, it's not paying for friendship, but you know what I mean. Like it's doing too much.
And you're not getting that back.
Yeah, that was the thing in my life, like when I was younger and stuff like that. I've learned to deal with it more so in my you know what I mean, as I've grown, but it was a big thing. It was a huge thing, and it used to piss me off.
It used to piss you off, what?
Reciprocity, people. Yeah.
Okay. Hillary said she loves a man that's open and doesn't mind being vulnerable in their communication. Yes, and communication is definitely the key to all relationships. I had to learn that communication was like that. I had to learn that communication can like break a relationship apart. If you cannot, I was going
to say what you're saying. It's not just communication, because you can communicate all day, but if the person isn't understanding, then there's the communication is just
it's pointless.
It's pointless in a sense. There's no growth. You have to you have to understand what the person is saying in order to change your behaviors, or else you just be communicating.
Right, like one ear and out the other. Yes, I had to learn that, and maybe that I could say is a toxic behavior. Maybe that like not listening, or like I always said it like, because I like to be truthful about things. Like I don't like to sugarcoat, or I try not to for the most part. But I think that was one of my downfalls, like as far as like communication, my communication skills, not always knowing how to listen to, understand what that person's saying instead of just listening to like reply to them or reply to what they're saying, or picking one thing out of that conversation to like attack and be like, oh, so this is it, this, that, and third. And like I had, after getting out of the toxic relationship, like I had to start learning all of that stuff all over again. It's kind of like you're a baby all over again when you get out of a toxic relationship, because, or even just the relationship period, but you have to learn to love yourself again, learn to give that energy that you was trying to give to that person. You got to give that back to yourself. And then you got to deal with erasing some of those toxic behaviors, and you might have to go to therapy and things like that, all to get over the power of love, of loving somebody. That's why I feel like people shouldn't play with people's hearts, because love is real. And you got people out there where you see fatal attractions, people killing people and stuff, that people really be in love with people. So when people play with people's hearts, listen, you gotta sometimes know that it's gonna come with either some type of negativity. When you loving somebody, when somebody's loving you and you doing them wrong, they might lash out in a way that they're crazy, but then you gotta look at what did you do to cause that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Accountability.
So Hillary said, women, especially black women, tend to feel obligated in their quest to nurture. Hold on, let me finish reading that. Especially their men, which is why so many of us fall into that category of taking someone unworthy of our love. Yes, Hillary. She gonna come on our show one day.
Oh, right.
She has her own she has a relationship talk show.
Oh, nice.
So one day she's gonna
we'd
be
love
able to
have
come
you on the
on.
show.
Yeah, we'd love to have her on. Yes, that is so true. I think that we do feel obligated to nurture our men, like growing up, like back then the wife was in the home, the wife took care of this, the wife took care of that. Growing up in a black family, you still kind of seen that for the most part, like with our grandparents. I mean, maybe not so much with our parents, some people, but even just to, like, I don't know, I looked at how my mom, when she got married and stuff, I watched how her interaction and how she nurtured and catered to my stepfather, and I didn't see anything wrong with it because she got that back in return. See, it becomes a problem when I feel like that's when it becomes a usage problem. Like, okay, now you're using me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm being nurturing and loving, which is in our nature to do, like Hillary said, I would like that energy back. Mm-hmm. Not the same exact way and things like that, but then if I feel like I'm not getting that energy back, then I feel like, okay, now you're using me and you're taking advantage of the fact that I do love you, that I do want to, cater or whatever you want to call it. That's just in women's nature. Like, and I feel like a man shouldn't take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. I feel like a real man is going to embrace that and not try to use that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you learn as you grow.
What's up, bro? My mom always said love is the most powerful drug.
Yes, it is.
No, for real.
Yes, it is.
It really is. Like,
and it's also the most powerful magic. People don't think magic is real. Love is magic if it's real love.
Explain. Go ahead. Break it down.
Like,
let us break it down for us.
Because everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people get on the spiritual tip now. But it's like when it's like the synchronicities and the serendipity and the way when love is at its best and it's working, mm-hmm. it's the work of God or the Almighty of the universe. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you can see it in whether the person reacts, whether it's coincidences or the times where y'all meet up. It's a magic there. I feel like
a spark.
There's a spark
that lasts that lasts even longer than just the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
Yes. Because the honeymoon phase, even in relationships, in the beginning, it's all good, or it's supposed to be. So, what do you think about that? That when you get into a relationship with somebody and for like 4 or 5 months and y'all already done broke up 100 times, y'all beefing, but y'all just keep coming back to each other. That's a toxic relationship, or that's just them getting to learn each other, to know each other?
Depends. Depends on if the problem that's breaking them up every time is the same problem. If it's a different problem, they're learning each other. If it's the same problem, it's just toxicity. And y'all coming back and saying, yeah, y'all doing the same thing.
They better run.
And you better run. But if you're gonna, you know what I mean? You're gonna learn each other. If you go through something and y'all break up, and then you come back and y'all actually try to work on fixing those problems,
right.
And something else comes up as a problem now. That has nothing to do with the first problem. It's a different disagreement.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's learning each other. We're learning each other. It doesn't always, but it doesn't always have to be a disagreement like that where it breaks up.
Right. It doesn't have to be a disagreement like that.
And that's important in telling if how toxic something is.
Right. It's just crazy how long we as human beings can just last or be in a toxic relationship for so long. Like it when you look at it, like look at, if I look at my experience, you could look at your experience, other people could look at their experiences. Hillary says she agrees with you.
Thank you.
It's just crazy, like when you think, like I know for me, I sit back and I'm like, how did I stay in this for so long? Like the damage and all of that stuff, like I said, the relearning and loving, and that's a lot. And it's like, so I went through all of this, and the situation, now it's not there anymore. The family life is gone, this, that, and the third. and that's fine because now it's all about loving Shantae. But in the midst of the situation, it's like, dang, really? Like I went through all of this with this person, and that's it. But I feel like now at this point in my life, now I just have to look at it as the lesson that it was for me for so many years. The things that it taught me to be better at, the things that it taught me to stay away from. Those are things that maybe I had to endure and go through. So now I try to look at it as, okay, what was the lessons in that situation, instead of just looking at it as, well, I didn't get nothing out of it, or being sad, or because it didn't work out. I gotta take it for what it is, and then just move forward and apply whatever I can from that situation to my life, in a positive manner. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
healing from the toxicity and from the
yeah, but healing is healing is so weird.
It is. There's different
One day you be fine. You be everybody's form of healing is different.
And
but
they don't
it's
tell
like
you that the recovery. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and she was saying, they don't tell you that they tell you that when you're going through it, it's hard. When you're going through it, when you're recovering, the recovery
is hard. No lie.
Because all the stuff when you get to, it's like you're suppressing things because of that pride, because of that selfishness, like I was saying before. So you're suppressing a bunch of things to not think about them, to go with the flow. And then when you get to a place where your head is clear and your life is, okay, I don't got to think about a bunch of other stuff. All those memories start popping up, you know what I'm saying? And now you got to deal with them.
Exactly.
And then bring back those emotions, and now you're dealing with it by yourself.
Yep, and you don't, oh my gosh, let's keep it real.
You know, keep
it real. It's been time.
Like your life be over.
Yep, you be like, and then you be mad at yourself because you like, why am I sitting up here even thinking about this? Or I know for me, like one of the things I try to do, like if even come in my mind for the most part, like I try to like kick it out like instantly. Like I try to just push it out of my head, think about something else, do something else.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
But that's a part of healing. Eventually you got to get through it. So some days I do with it. I be like, I'm gonna have to. I'm understanding now that part of healing is real, and some days it's going to be like that, and that's okay because I'm going through the process of healing. But like you said, nobody told you how deep and dark and ugly the phase of healing can be. And that's why you don't play with people when it comes to love.
Yes.
Yeah, first of all, you have to love yourself. Yes, you have to love yourself. Someone said love is a powerful drug and can be addictive as well as complicated. When you think you're in an unconditional loving relationship, it's easy to get sucked in and not see the light. Yes, when you think you're in an unconditional love, that's what I'm saying. It can blind you. Your love can really blind you. You can just see and it's crazy because you can see. I mean, like I said, sometimes you might just let it slide. But even a person that starts seeing the behaviors and going through it and being there, like we still put up with it, and it's like, why? Because you want that love, and I feel like a lot of times, even women. Just talking for women, like women, you could get dressed up and you could feel like you're the prettiest person and put up your pictures and do this, that, and the third. But behind closed doors, you are in like the most toxic relationship. And I know that for me, I could say I feel like I didn't love myself fully when I allowed myself to continuously go through the same type of things. Like I feel like there's no way that I could have loved Shantae, because if I fully loved Shantae, and it would, none of that wouldn't happen. I wouldn't allow that. But again, it's all about going through things and learning from it. So moving forward, I have to understand. Moving forward, I have to understand and realize that in order to love me the right way, I can't put up with the stuff that I put up with in the past. And even if that means realizing the toxic behavior quicker than I used to and bouncing out of a situation, then that's what I have to do because I have to protect me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I feel you. So now you gotta talk about. You didn't talk about your toxic.
What you want to know?
Your toxic relationship.
It was toxic. It I didn't know what toxic was. It was toxic on both ends, and I didn't think I was toxic for a long time.
That could be a problem.
I didn't think I was, because my intentions weren't to be facetious. They weren't to be. They were to be loving, and I was just the kind of person. The way I move with certain stuff is like I don't care. Not that I don't care. That's how it seems.
That's how it comes off.
It comes off. You know what I mean? So that was it triggered certain things. The inconsistency triggered certain things, and I didn't realize that was toxic and how toxic that was to the relationship.
Right.
And in doing so, it caused me to stay eventually longer than I should have.
Is that when you realized the toxic behavior caused you to stay?
No, I realized it, but I was trying to. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't intentional. So I didn't think there was much for me to do for correcting, because I was doing my part as far as loving and being, loving on the other end, but the inconsistencies kind of in a way played into it, and I didn't realize how much it played into it. And then once I started to realize that, it was like, okay, I didn't want to believe it. I kept arguing against it, kind of.
You kept trying to downplay it.
Because I had been through so much from trying to do the right things. I had been through trying to do the right things and getting so much pushback that I was losing my give a fuck, let's say. I was losing, you know what I mean? Like the caring.
You were losing that selflessness of you.
I was losing the selflessness. But I was staying in the relationship because I didn't want to lose the relationship to a certain degree.
So what?
And I didn't realize that at the time. It was like, oh, I'm in love and I'm da-da-da-da, but I had fucked up, and I was trying to make amends for fucking up.
So now that you have walked away from that toxic relationship, do you feel like you are more at peace? Do you feel like it's a relationship that maybe because y'all didn't know so much about the toxic behaviors and things that you both were displaying, do you think that it's something that you could go back and give another try? Or do you look at it as, no, that was just something that was toxic and it'll always be like that?
I mean, we have a child, so it's, years. Time will tell. But at the moment, I'm at peace to a certain degree, because there's no more the back and forth, the fighting, the bumping heads, the static. There's I'm not dealing with that, but there's other static now as far as my child goes. So now there's that I have to deal with.
Hi Evilise.
What up, Evilise?
If I add you, nothing but positivity. Let me see if I don't know. I haven't added anyone from my laptop. I don't think I can. And from the phone, it was acting up. It just went. The lives kept ending when we were going from the phone. So I don't know if it's gonna let me add you on while we're on the laptop. So at this point in time, like in my life, like I said, if I see any sign, not to say that I'm just gonna dismiss someone, because we all have things like flaws. I feel like flaws are different from being toxic. So like example, maybe a toxic behavior could be a man putting his hands on a woman. But a flaw could be you not flushing the toilet after you use the bathroom, after you pee, or putting the toilet seat down, like something like that. Or you might snore or something like that. Like that's like to me flaws. So I wouldn't quite walk away from things like
what
that.
What about forgetfulness? Would you consider that being toxic, or would you consider that being more just a flaw?
I wouldn't consider that being toxic. I honestly, I'm sorry, even men that could communicate good, which is a good thing, I still feel like all men just have a problem with remembering stuff and just like channeling their brain to listen, because us as women, we like to talk, or we are more detailed a lot of times, and they say men just like to get straight to the point, like, what do you need me to do? You don't gotta give me all that extra stuff. So I honestly feel like men just don't pay attention like they should. I just think that that's a man thing, and I had to learn that too. But it's a difference between that and a man ignoring their woman and not giving them attention and stuff like that. So there is a difference between you being forgetful about something if I say right and versus just ignoring me and oh I just forgot, like no, you're not even paying attention, like you know, put the game down or whatever. But then you know, as women, we gotta give Yaya time too. So
here she go.
Evilise, that's her name, right?
That's her name.
Evilise, please don't come on my show saying this type of stuff and with the drama. We're all about positivity. We all about talking about different topics and stuff. If you want to talk about the topic,
talk to me.
You can do that. But if you want to talk to Web, please don't do that on this live because that's not cool. If you want to talk to me, we can talk later, but not right now. So, like I was saying, stay versus leave. So underneath that umbrella of being toxic, besides a person, you know, maybe growing up in a toxic environment, seeing their parents in certain type of relationships or their parents being absent, what else do you think could bring about a person being toxic in a relationship? For instance, like a woman beater, let's talk about that. A woman beater, what do you think that brings about? I know besides seeing their dad might do it or somebody that they're close to. What do you think like causes them to be a woman beater and put their hands on women? Like, well, let's talk about that.
There's a lot of things that could cause that. There's a lot of anger and resentment. There's a lot of things that could cause. But I think it's a difference between like if you put your hands on women all the time, like that's just something you do. There's an issue, a deeper rooted issue. If fights, like things happen in fights, like you know, passion and you get emotional about stuff and you know what I mean. A lack of self control, like Evilise is saying, it's a lack of self control to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Like on both ends, putting your hands on whether being a woman beater and you know what I mean, putting your hands on men to begin with. Like it's a lack of self control there.
Right. Or even egging on the situation. Cause okay, let's keep it real. I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, and my kid's father, before I even was pregnant with my first daughter. So when we used to get into it, he used to try to want to leave to calm down. But I'm young. I'm like 19, 20, and I'm like thinking like leave, like you're gonna leave me. So I used to like block the door. I used to be like, you're not going nowhere, and I used to block the door. But then that would cause more issues onto the situation because he's like, yo, let me leave, let me go, and I'll come back, you know. But me being young and trying to be like, oh no, you're not going nowhere, you're gonna stay, like, I would block the door now. I would never do nothing like that. Bye. Go ahead. Go breathe.
Did y'all fight a lot?
Come back.
Was it a lot of fights?
Yeah, there was
a lot of like physical altercations and.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there was.
Were you the instigator of it? Was he the instigator of it sometime? Like.
No, it was a lot. Most of the times it was because of cheating. So like it would turn into something real instant and quick. But to be honest, most of the times, like physically, I didn't fight him back. A lot of the times. Sometimes I did, of course, but most times I didn't because I was in love with him, and I end up always taking him back too after the situation. And people couldn't understand that either. They're like, "How can you keep taking him back after this man keep putting his hands on you and doing this, that, and the third?" And for me, it was just being blinded. Like I really was like in love. Like we went through a lot of things. Again, I'm not perfect. Yes, sometimes I did have to defend myself. Yes, sometimes if I got upset about a situation, maybe I was boisterous about it or loud about it. But, you know, like you said, people go through things. But I think a lot of people in our culture, they look at, like, domestic violence as kind of, like, fake. Like, especially in the hood.
Yeah.
And they look at it as, oh, like, y'all just was banging out, this, that, and they're like, now when you're walking up the street with a black eye, with your eyes shut, like, yes, it's trauma.
It creates a lot of trauma. And
right. Now when your kids are seeing that, things like that, like, that's not just hood love. Because that's how you would take it. Growing up, you hear, like, oh, that's hood love. Like, that's that hood loving right there. Like, no, it's not. It's not hood loving at all. Let's read some of these comments. Women are definitely abusive. That's why I said, like, I wasn't like physically just always hit him, but if I had to, I will say I think one time I found out he was cheating, like, and I did go, like, intentionally to his home to start, like, to get at him about it. Like, I will.
That's what happened.
It was like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? People. Like, you're cheating on me, and that was with emotion. Now I wouldn't do all of that because I mean I'm not perfect, but I know that certain things are not even worth me indulging in or putting myself into those situations because I learned from it. Yes, yeah. So I would be real with mine. And yes, women are abusive. Men just don't talk about it as much, Hillary. So Jennifer said, I agree with Hillary. Just found out recently that there are women beaters. Yes, there are. There are women that beat on men, and I don't even know how.
They do that for sport, like.
Yeah, nah, it's not okay. Especially like you don't want a man putting their hands on you.
Don't do it. Doesn't make sense.
We don't like to talk about it. Society has us believing men can't be victims because they are supposed to be strong. Yes. Hey, cuz, what's up, Kelly? Eva Lee said, men in society have power over women to this day. Sexism against men is like racism towards white folks. It doesn't exist.
And that would only be the truth. That could only be the truth.
Men in society have power over women to
I feel like sexism against men is not, it's a thing. You know what I mean? It's definitely a thing. It's not, it hasn't gone on as long as it has been for women. And not like, it was like a norm, kind of, because of just the way society
how things were ran back in the days.
So with more liberation and more freedom and more independency for men and women, there is more of a sex. I mean, it's always been there because there's a balance to everything, right. But there's more of a sexist thing now. I think, like when women are allowed to be the horny, like.
But see, that's what I'm saying. It's like the double standard.
It's
like,
a double standard.
We always talk about this in all our topics. Like, why is it okay for like the men? I swear, it's
not
like
it's okay for one and not okay for the other.
But that's how it's
just
portrayed. The perception of yeah, because if y'all go down the list of things that's okay with men to do, it's like yo, y'all tripping. Kelly said, "I do beat on men, but it's love tap." For real, cause. Nah, I don't be on men. I don't be on men. If it's love taps, right? They like the love taps, cuz they like the love taps. Trust me.
The love taps.
Yes, they love them. If she can't take it, don't do it. Do what, Nate? If she don't take what? If she can't take what? Listen, them love taps be turning into other stuff. So I think men like love taps.
What's the love tap?
What's a love tap? Like, you know, like maybe play fighting or, you know, like, shut up, boy, but not hard.
Yeah.
Not to, like, really hurt you. Because women, we know, just like men, I think both parties, but we know how to trigger our men. We know how to trigger the person we messing with. I mean.
I think that kind of stuff, that love tap thing kind of stemmed from love language, like touch being a love language.
Yeah, physical.
But also trying to not hide emotion, but be prideful and emotion.
I think that's how men are.
I think it's a mix.
When you say that, I think that you're referring to men.
No, I'm just saying. I think love taps in general. I'm just saying. I think it's a mix.
I know you're saying in general, but I think that men, when you said the pride thing,
men
I think
like
that's kind of like.
But that's what I'm saying. Men don't like that. But with love taps, I think it's a mix of the pride mixed with love being your touch. You know what I mean? You want to be prideful about, I'm chill, but you want to touch.
Right, cousin. Never been beat on. It's love not to hurt.
Facts.
And it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. It's like, that's what I'm saying, like the damage that could be done from being in a relationship, a toxic relationship, it could be, sometimes it's just horrible. But I feel like we just have to take it one day at a time and just try not to go, backwards. And just try to heal as much as you can. But it gets ugly. Just know that healing is not walk in the park, flowers in the sun, and it's not like that.
Hell fucking
at all. Nate said love taps is different than just stolen on the nigga because your girl said she saw him with some girl at the store.
They just try to call that love gas too, huh, Nate? That's funny.
Men want to feel oppressed so bad.
We're not oppressed.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like men nowadays, more than often, which I respect, is that they understand that talking and communicating and actually expressing their emotions and their feelings in the right way. I feel like nowadays that's happening even more because, like I said before, men were taught, a lot of men, not all, but most men that I know and grew up around and have been around have always been taught to be strong, have always been taught to, not show your emotions. You a man, you work, you go out, you bring the bread home, you take care of the family. And then you can do what you want on the side, say. But that's how it was. Yeah. And it's like, growing up, that's what the young men see. So they start being like that, or they either didn't have a father, and then they just let the streets become their family, and all of that macho tough man stuff pours into the relationship. And it's okay if you want to be a macho tough man, but it's how you do it. It's all in how you do it in your relationship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she said yes, but there is no sexism towards men.
There's a word in the dictionary. Look it up. It's misandry.
Yeah, but I think we get more. I think that's what she's saying, which is right.
For women. More of a thing for women.
It is more of a thing for women.
But men can be victims to shit too.
And I want y'all ladies to know.
That's another double standard that people don't talk about. The victimization of certain things. Or not just or the not oppression, but the victimization in a sense. Like you were saying earlier about beatings and like women beating on, they don't talk about that a lot, or they make jokes of it.
Right. I could agree with you on that. Like the emotions, being even being raped, things like that. A lot of men don't like to talk about that. Like I said, nowadays I feel like it's a little bit more open, but we still got a long way to go.
I was surprised when I heard what's his name, Terry Crews, was talking about being molested or raped.
Yeah, and people laugh at it. They think it's funny, but it's like, men go through things as well. So I couldn't say that.
I taught you the word, like.
Well, I do want to say to people that oh wait, hold on Hillary said men are simply asking for what women are for respect. Understand that respect looks different for each. That's why it's important for us to learn each other's love language in the dating phase of the relationship. Yeah, we always talk about that, Hillary. Like that needs to be our topic next week. Like the love languages. Yes.
It's important to learn your partner's love, but it's important to know your own love
language. I didn't even know about If you don't,
you don't know how to receive love.
You have to learn your own, and then you have to learn your partner's love language as well, because it could be, like Webb said, it could be the physical touch, but then I'm over here doing acts of service, and you looking at me like, that's nice and all, but that's not making me happy. So, and to all those that may be dealing with a toxic relationship, that may be in one, that even may just have gotten out of one, I just want you to know that it is okay to love yourself. It is okay to walk away. It is okay to understand that all them years that you might have spent in that relationship with that person is not worth continuing to lose yourself and not love yourself 100%. And it's not always going to be easy days. But let me tell you something. When you get out of something that's so toxic on a relationship where it caused you not to love yourself and value yourself at 100%, you're going to feel so much better. And it's easier said than done. That's why, like, honestly, I try not to bash nobody that's in relationships. I definitely have no room to talk about people's relationships because the things I've been through, the things I dealt with and took that person back multiple times. Like, I have no room, and I feel like even us as men and women, we have no room, because if you want to keep it a buck, we all been through things. We all have been through relationships that we might not even want to talk about, certain things we were put through, or even things that we did that were wrong. But over here, we try to be truthful with our situations and be real about things. And I just want y'all to know that, listen, you can walk away, and listen, it's a good feeling. Like Angie said, she said, I'm living single life and I love it. And that's not to say, like, I always tell people, like, I'm all for relationships. Like, I'd rather be in a relationship than be single. But at the same time, I know that I just don't want to jump into something knowing that I'm still healing. I don't want to bring none of my triggers or see them do something and try to make them like, oh, you acting just like this person now. Like, no, I want to try to be as cleansed as possible going into the next relationship. But that's the scary part because it's like you did all of this work to make yourself, to guard yourself, and then that's it's like that's where it comes in at as not knowing if this person, you see that one toxic thing and you like, I'm out, or just anything.
That's why the recovery process is not as easy as they make it seem.
Yes.
Because you gotta pick and choose what choice to make once that situation come back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like now you in a situation that you was in before, and it's like, all right, do I do this? Well, I know. What are you gonna do?
Right. Thinking that they love you because they've been with you for 15, 20 years, 10 years, and you look at it as, oh, that's love. They love me. Look how long we've been together. Like, they always come back home to me. Let me tell y'all something, ladies. That's the worst mentality to have. I have to say it.
The dudes, because it's like the same thing. The dudes think they're always gonna come back until
right. That's one. Because then you have the dude thinking, oh, she keep taking me back. I'm always gonna come. She always gonna come back. I'm always gonna come back to her. She gonna take me back. They gonna start learning the pattern, and that's when they start really taking more advantage. But just to have the mentality of he's coming home to me, like, I don't know. I try to stay away from that. Like, yes, I've dealt with the cheating and stuff, but I've never said out my mouth like, oh well, at least he come home to me at night after he's done doing all this stuff he's doing. Like, no. Like, I want us to stop having that mentality. Like, we have to love it. It don't sound good. It doesn't sound cute. It doesn't sound like you love yourself. It doesn't sound like you have your values set, you know, your standards set high for yourself. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that, with having standards set for yourself. Like, don't be that woman, you know, for life, to accept that always when you're in a relationship, that because a man comes back, as long as he come back, he can do what he want. Like, no, please, ladies, we gotta change up the narrative. If we want better, we have to do better as well. What you said? You attract. What we was talking about when you said that you attract like your energy and the people that you deal with. Like, you attract them for a reason.
It's a law of attraction. She said facts. It's better when you get the bed to yourself.
You at least trying to be funny.
She trying to be funny.
Ooh. So what do you guys think is better? From what I'm seeing, everyone is saying that, you know, to stay up out of a toxic relationship, but what made some of y'all stay? What made some of y'all stay in that toxic relationship for so long? Angie said, the one mistake I made was putting a man first and not God, and we all know no one comes before God.
Facts.
Amen. Or whatever you believe in, Angie. Yep. You got it. And that's a lot. I think that's where a lot of us go wrong. I'm speaking for women because I'm not a man, but I think a lot of us, we put men, I know from like, once you get into a relationship, we just be putting the men first, like trying to make sure that they good, a woman that's about that, trying to make sure that they good, doing what they need to do, having what they have, and you want to make your partner happy to receive that in return. But sometimes it can get to a point where, like I said again, you can lose yourself when you put them first.
Don't do it to receive it in return. Do it because you want
it. Yeah, do it because you want it.
Watch what they do in return. And
right.
That's how you learn toxicity, what's toxic and what's not. Oh, as far as relationship goes, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I don't mean to do like, oh, I did this, you need to do this. No, that's not what I mean when I say that.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that for the viewers out there, don't do it like that. Because that's what happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? You do it expecting something to come back and it's not what you thought was going to happen, and then that's the bad person. No.
Okay, so don't be gaslit. My uncle and brother got their side chick living with their moms. What? They have their side chicks living with their moms? Well, the moms is even messed up for involving themselves in that. Like, what? Listen, I say stay single until you done healed.
Stay single till you got you ready.
Can you look at the charger, please? It should be right in the room. Until you are It's in the living room. Until you are able to heal. Sorry, guys, I got what you call it. Until you are able to heal, don't go into new relationships with that toxic behavior. Don't, just, you got to try to heal from it, man. I feel like that's what causes these relationships after relationships to be bad, because people are just jumping in and out and no healing, knowing that they toxic. Bae was not about to. Also, for next week, I'm thinking, you guys, I kind of wanted to do like a open discussion week. So maybe next Thursday we can do like an open discussion one where you guys can post up in the comment section, a topic, and then you could just bring, we'll start discussing the topics and we'll pick people different topics, or if you want, you can pick the topic and we can add you on so you can kind of talk about the topic that you want to discuss at hand. Because, with the viewers, we're nothing without the viewers. I'm always grateful for the viewers. You know that we always engage with you guys. So next week, I was saying yes, and I was saying that I think that we can kind of do a open discussion week. So like if Nate said that. That's yes. Oh yes. It's going to be our 10th episode. Go us. And say if Nate he writes something up there, we could try to like bring him on to the live, and he could talk about the whatever discussion that he wants to talk about, and of course we piggyback off of that, and we can do it like that. So we can have open discussion week next week. Thank you, Angie. Today is a little bit more calm. Last week we was turn up, but. Thank you, Hillary. So I'm excited about the 10th. I'm excited about the followers every week. I'm excited about the shares. I'm excited about all of that. So let's get back a little bit before we end our live today. Just a little bit back into the whole relationship, staying and leaving. So I'm still trying to wait to hear from some of the guests. The viewers. What made you stay? What made you stay in
toxic relationships?
Is it just, I just feel like a lot, I don't know, like I said, for me it was timing, as much time, all the time I spent, and just the love that I had for that person was so deep that all of that other stuff just didn't matter to me. It kind of became in my mind like, this is what we go through, like we gonna get through this and we gonna come back. And even into like our friends and stuff minds too, like it got into their minds, like that's just them. That's how they are. Yeah. Even like now, like that. Yes. Even now, people say that all the time. That's just y'all. That's how y'all are. Y'all gonna get back. I'm like, no, we're not. Like this is different this time, where it's like when your friends and family are so used to you going back to a situation, and every time you say, I'm not going back, you go back, they start forming their own mindset. Like, man, please, they just talking.
And then when it don't happen and it's out of your mind, then they come with the questions, what happened to this person?
Yeah, like don't bring them up. I don't want to know about that. So do you have, this kind of was a little short one today.
This was pretty short. Because I got a fan club that jumps on to be funny.
Who's that movie? I heard he smelled like, oh, okay.
It's definitely called being in denial.
Oh, okay. They're talking about. So, Nate said, she said, Angie says called being in denial. Nate said, you get too comfortable and your circle are the same. That's how a bunch of people get stuck. Yes, yo.
That's true. Yes. Because when you're in the same situation, like you said, with your friends, that's just y'all. You never get any information to help you get out of that situation.
I mean, I did.
You will.
I chose not to listen.
A different circle.
What's going on today?
You have to get it from a different circle.
Yeah.
Like Nate's saying.
Oh yeah. Well, my time. Thank you, Hillary. Thank you for joining, and we look forward to having you on.
We do. Yes, we do.
Because you had a lot of good perspectives, so we got to get you on. I feel like my friends, a lot of people told me, but what it was is, it goes back to when you know and when you ready. Like you know. Like, so many people could give me good advice or tell me like how good of a person I was or things I didn't deserve, and I could be looking at them like, and back in my head I'm like, I'm going home to my man. Like, I don't know what y'all talking about, because that's where I started to not love myself as much anymore. Then now, here go, oh, he's cheating all the time. Now I'm looking at me like, what's wrong with me? Now I'm looking in the mirror like, wait, hold on, am I not pretty? Or, I get dressed up and I never get a compliment from you, but everybody, when I'm going outside, everybody trying to bag me. And here it results to, this is what I hear men say a lot too. Well, I already got you, so why do I have to keep doing that? And I hate that mentality, because it's like, what do you mean? Why do you supposed to keep your relation? That's why.
Let me give you a little secret. If you're attracted to the person, you're gonna do it. The only reason that it stops is if you lose attraction to that person. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you with a person and you attracted to your person, there's no, why are you not gonna compliment them on how they look? They look
good. A lot of people are like that. They don't.
No, it is. It is like that a lot of times. But you should always compliment your significant other.
I think you should too. I think in public, all of that, like, that's not being too mushy. That's not being like, that's just with your, showing that respect and that love, right?
It's building a strong foundation.
Exactly. All right, so do you have anything that you want to? Hillary said, because it's easier for us as women to internalize than deal with the real issue. Yep, she's right about that. We can internalize it instead of dealing with the real issue at hand. Whether it could mean I could be at fault and might not want to deal with it, or you could be at fault and I'm not gonna look at the real issue. I'm just gonna internalize it for what it is within myself. Even if I know, or even if like I could be hurt, but I'm gonna internalize that. I'm gonna compartment that, and I'm gonna continue on to try to build a relationship, even though I'm got all these little parts inside of me that's like, okay, I've been internalizing this, I've been internalizing
it's like
that.
A bunch of little cuts, and then eventually the bleeding is like.
Nate said, I've seen people try to help a woman get out of a toxic relationship and end up in a fight with their friends. That's true. That's why you gotta mind your business.
That's true. That's why you gotta mind your business.
That's why you gotta mind your business. Let me tell you something. I had somebody that used to be my best friend, and when I was in my relationship with the person with my kid's father, she couldn't understand. She stopped being my best friend because she couldn't understand why I continued to deal with the abuse and the cheating and going back and forth with him. Why did I continue? Like, maybe I feel like it hurt her so much that she kind of walked away from our friendship, and that kind of hurt me because I'm like, I know I'm going through something and it's not easy for me to walk away, but I was like, how can you just walk away from our friendship like that? It wasn't until she ended up basically in a situation like mine to where she understood, like she called me and apologized about it. And she told me that she was wrong for that because she just didn't understand it. But then when she went through it, she was able to understand it. And that's why you can't judge a book by its cover or say that, oh, if I was to go through this or if I was to go through that, or you can say that all you want, both men and women. You never know really until you're in that situation. You know how many times I say, ain't no dude putting their hands on me, like, and I was a little tough street chick, like, I'm about to get down with you, like, it wasn't, I was like, man, I got mad guys in my family, like, what you talking about? Like, anytime you put your, we gonna fight, I'm gonna call my cousins, somebody, they go, so in my mind, I never would think, ain't nobody about to put their hands on me. Because guess what's going to happen if they do?
I'll whoop their ass.
I'm going to whoop. Yeah, right. That's not how it happened.
Nope.
So it's like you could say all you want. You're not going to do this, that, and the third. But until you in that, and then you got to learn. That's another topic I want to talk about too. Like learning to keep your friends and your family out of situations. And I had to learn that too. You telling them this, you telling them that. Even like the whole thing when we talk about social media. So that's another topic. I don't even know what they're talking about, but Web, do you have? Well, it doesn't matter. We're not paying attention.
I ain't paying no attention to it.
So, Web, do you have anything else to say about our topic for tonight? Because
I was about to ask you, did you think your friend was a good friend, or or
when
not.
she did that.
But this is before you said about the apologizing. I was gonna ask you if you thought she was a good friend for walking away.
I don't think she was, and I still.
No, after the apologizing.
I got what I got. I think I understood, but then I wouldn't do that. I don't care like what my friends go through, like, and I don't care how bad I might want them to get out of a situation. I'm gonna be there for them regardless if I just have to listen to them vent, regardless if I gotta tell them some real deal, regardless if they're still in that situation. Like, it might hurt or I might be sad about it because that's especially like I take my friendships and stuff serious. So yeah, it might hurt, but I'm never gonna walk away from my friends because it's something that they're going through and they can't get out of, because I for one know how hard it is to get out of a relationship or a situation that everybody else from the outside looking at know is no longer good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. I feel like that wasn't good friendship, but
she apologized.
Yeah, I respect it.
Are y'all friends to this day?
Yeah, we're friends. Well, we are not as close as we used to be, but there's no love lost. Yeah, there's no love lost. I don't have any like bad feelings or anything to her, ill feelings towards her or anything like that. It was just that we were young too, so maybe that could have played a part. But the fact that she went through it and understood, sometimes it have to happen like that. But she did apologize for that. So she said she was never your friend, baby girl, number one fact. Yeah, that's why I said like now it's where it's an associate thing, like no love lost. But I was just like, what if I was one of the people that was so depressed, and then on top of being depressed at what I was going through, and then the years we was friends, and then she dropped our friendship because like I could have committed suicide, anything like that, and she would have felt bad then.
How long y'all didn't talk for?
I don't remember.
You're right. Anything could have happened.
I don't remember, but I just feel like you should never walk away from your friends because they're going through something, or you might consider them, oh, you being a stupid B, or you being this girl. Bye. Like, we all been through stuff. All of us, especially us women. Like, us women really have no room to judge each other when we have been through things. And like, yeah, your life might be different now. Your life might be different now. You might have gained a level of maturity that we all might want to be. Us as women might strive for. Mm-hmm. But it's no need for us to judge each other, because I'm telling you right now, there's not one woman I know that didn't go through something in a relationship and felt stupid, didn't want to tell someone, didn't want to talk about it, put it in their closet. Who are we to judge? We just got to be there for each other and try to speak life and positivity. And like I said, sometimes you got to do the real deal. Like, girl, sometimes you have to. But it's not to say I'm going to bash you and I'm going to judge you for it. I don't know if men are like that. Well, maybe that friend couldn't handle seeing where you was. Yeah, that's what I think it was.
Yeah.
So on her end, it was sad for her.
She was a good friend, because she probably felt like she was a good friend.
On her end, it was sad for her, and probably just to see me going through that and not walking away. But on my end, I was looking at it as like hurt, because I'm like, this is my situation, but probably not understanding how much she cared for me, that she didn't want to see me go through that, so she just stopped being friends with me. So I don't know.
It's a confusing thing.
It was confusing. I mean, like I said, no love lost to this day, but it was just confusing. I just was like, huh? She walked away, but it's maybe like Nate said, maybe it was something that she couldn't deal with. Hillary said also maybe it's age for me, but at 48 I live by the mantra that nothing is personal because we all got baggage or something we are working through. Believe me, it's not personal. Mm-hmm. Right. And that comes with age, maturity. That comes with maturity. Yeah. Not taking things personal. Knowing that it's like if I'm having a bad day and I'm coming off on web, like mm-hmm. he probably gotta say to himself, okay, guess what? This don't got nothing to do with me. Like, why is Shantae acting like this? So I'm not gonna take it personal. And I had to be like, I had to learn that too. Jennifer said, women can be in love and then, hey Jen,
That was part of my
Happy
toxicity
birthday
too.
to my girl Jennifer too. Her birthday was the other day. Women can be involved in love and then find out a man just use you for convenience, meaning a person to have sex with or a place to lay their head with. Right. And that's the damage. Like, who wants to be used? Like, I mean, I know women be doing it all the time to the old heads. Or just, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, who wants to be used? Who wants to enjoy that feeling, not knowing
Nobody.
that you gave your all to somebody, and maybe only thing I could say maybe you were at fault is because you didn't guard yourself, maybe 100%. But again, like Hillary said, we're vulnerable women. We are, that's it's in us. We're in that nurturing phase. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's a part of us. So if I'm just being used and convenienced, it's not a good feeling. That don't feel good at all. At all.
It doesn't.
Have you ever been used as a man?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how does it work?
You get caught up in the. I'm not gonna say the rapture, but you get caught up in just the looks and the attraction and the. You know what I mean? It's easy. It happens.
See?
Who's this? That guy looks so
Joel,
stressed.
haha, that guy looks so stressed. What happens?
You know?
Who's Joel?
I
No.
don't know.
No, he's.
Oh, he must be a friend of Evilisa's.
Okay, well, we're not reading no negative comments. But, you have anything else that you want to say?
Oh, I was gonna piggyback off of
Hillary?
taking stuff personal
Okay.
can be a layer of toxicity in a relationship, and you not realize it. Taking everything personal, because now you're reacting on a person. You're reacting to hurt a person for something that's not personal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're reacting to hurt a person.
Okay, yeah, I get that part.
That's what they did. You're taking what they did personal, and it's not personal. Like Hillary was saying.
Right.
It's toxic. You might not realize it's toxic, but it's a toxic trait. Because now you're firing back. You're being disrespectful. You're being rude. You're being hurtful and harmful.
Right. Yeah, so I get that.
And the situation doesn't call for all of that.
But then that person, we talked about this before, that person might take it personal because of something that they might have been through, or they might have triggered something.
Exactly. Which is all toxic. That's
right.
What I'm saying. It's all toxic. That's why it's toxic.
But what about when y'all say that we play a song that has to do with y'all when y'all be messing up, and we be like, listen to this right here, like, oh, what about?
People will only do what you allow them to do. That's facts.
Yeah, people will only allow. That's why you gotta guard your heart. We can't be so freely and giving our love. Like, you think that it should be easy like that, but it's not. You don't wash your face every day. That's definitely a sign of awful hygiene. Yep.
Yeah, it is.
All right. That's from my girl Jennifer. She said that. Okay, so I think we should end this a little bit early today. We could wrap it up today.
Thank you all for coming out to our show.
Talk with Teezy. Venus versus Mars with Web. Again, next week for our 10th episode. Wait, I'm gonna have to get some balloons that say 10. I'm just so happy like we made it to our 10th episode.
We made it.
Hold up, because Hillary just said something before I want to end it. She said, to be honest, being used is an excuse we use when we are ignoring red flags that we know we see and choose to look the other way because I was in a relationship. Again, more baggage, more.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, it can be used as.
If you don't love yourself, though, you don't know you're being used.
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation. If you got that low self-esteem, you want to just have that connection with that person, but you know the only reason they dealing with you because you buying them stuff and you still doing it. I mean, it could be looked at as an excuse. I agree with you. I agree with you somewhere, Hillary. I agree with you somewhere. What you think?
No, she drives a good point.
She has a good point when she talks about ignoring the red flags. So when we choose to ignore the red flags, does that mean that now we're at fault? Does that when we choose to ignore
when you
the
choose
red
to
flags,
ignore the red flags,
when
yes,
we
you
see
are at
them,
fault.
okay, so that makes it more toxic.
When you choose to, you are at fault. You've been here all
Hey,
10, salute.
hey, Dad, right?
Yes,
Hey,
you have,
Nate.
Nate.
Nate been here all 10. Hey, Dad. So, yes, we are having our 10th episode next week, and I think that we're going to do an open discussion. So, I want to add people on so you guys next week will be able to jump on with your topics and we can talk about it. And yep, Kendra, you've been here. Like I said, shout out to the viewers. We love you guys. Like every week, you guys tune in. Every week, we got some new people commenting. So share.
Share. Tell a friend and
tell a friend and tell a friend that Venus versus Mars is here to stay.
We poppin'.
Here to stay. Listen. And we're gonna get bigger. We're gonna get better. Trust me when I tell you. We're working on putting on other platforms. Like I said, this is just the beginning. So, hi, Joanna. We kind of ended our live early tonight. We normally don't have a time. We go 6 until we feel like, maybe it's time for cutoff. Sometimes we go longer than others. Like last week was our longest. I think we was up there for 3 hours?
Yeah.
Last week was
real.
Like we had
last
multiple
week
guests.
Live.
Yes, the last few weeks have been. We had multiple guests and stuff like that. So this week we didn't have guests, but we just decided, we still gonna move forward. Hillary said, "Sorry, you guys, every time, because some of that stuff that they have to say is good points, right?"
Self-love is a must, but again, we need to acknowledge and be accountable. We shouldn't go into any relationship unarmed without it. Sadly, that's what's happening.
Yeah. I agree with that, Hillary. I agree with that. Self-love. Angie, you could go back on my page and you can watch last week's. It was really intense. So if you want to go on my page and watch it, you can. But self-love, you guys. Learn to love yourself. Learn to know that you don't have to put up with the things that you used to put up with or that you're still dealing with. Know that you can be you are someone that can be loved the correct way, and know that there is real love out there and that there is a man or a woman that will give you and fulfill all your wants and needs as far as it goes when it comes to a relationship. And know that you can heal and become a better person after being in a toxic relationship. It might not be easy. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. You're going to have days where you think about that person. You're going to have days where you might cry, where you might scream. But guess what? Let it out, because that's a part of healing. Like Webb said, you have to understand that that's a part of healing. You can't try to just keep, you got to deal with it. Put it at the forefront, because guess what? Once that layer peel off, like the caterpillar, you got that new, your wings, you're going to be that new butterfly that's going to fly. Right. So that's what I could get. That's what I know for me. Like, just working on that self-loving Shantae again.
Work on loving yourself, people.
Good, right. And if it was, what they said, leave bouncing versus staying.
Gotta pack my
bags.
Time
to pack your bags and go at this point. All right, so anything you want to give them any advice before we end?
Love yourself. Love each other.
Love yourself. Love each other. All right, you guys. So next week, we're back with another one. Talk with Teezy. Yes.
And your boy
Webb in the building. 10th episode. We're going to do it big. So make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all joining in. Make sure y'all have y'all cups with y'all right. Maybe we should get some wine or something. Yeah, we need to do something. We got to come up with something for our 10th episode. We so amped about this. Listen. And for everybody, our lives are always posted on my page. So you can go back and watch them. You can go back and share them. And you can do all of that. Web, they should be, because you're tagging them. So they should be on Web's live page as well. But make sure you share. Again, we will be back with another one. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good night. This is Talk with Teezy, Venus versus Mars.
Signing off.
Good night. Good night.